Karvas stood before the Galactic Council, hands clasped behind his back. The chamber was vast, domed in crystalline metal, filled with the hushed murmurs of 100 different species. Their leaders sat in tiered rows, their expressions a mix of frustration and disbelief. At the center of the floor, a holographic display flickered, showing the last transmission from the first assassination team. The feed was brief: shadows, a strangled gasp, then silence. "This is unacceptable," growled a reptilian diplomat from the Thraxian Dominion. "The elite assassins of this council do not simply vanish." "They did," Voss said coldly. "And I will correct this failure." A grizzled warlord from the Zalari clicked his mandibles. "Your operatives are supposed to be infallible. If they've fallen, then humanity is stronger than we anticipated." Voss resisted the urge to sneer. He had personally trained the first strike team. They were ghosts, perfect killers, enhanced with cybernetics, honed for precision kills. They did not fail. Yet they were gone. "This is not strength," Voss said. "This is an anomaly. A miscalculation. And miscalculations can be corrected." The council murmured, considering his words. Voss continued. "I will personally oversee the next operation. A second wave of assassins will infiltrate Earth within the next rotation. They will not fail." The vote passed. He had his mandate. Voss turned sharply and strode from the chamber, already sending the kill order. Humanity would be erased before they became a greater threat. Deep Bastion, Earth's hidden fortress. Commander Elias Trask watched the transmission fade from his screen, lips curling into a smirk. "Well," he said, "they took the bait." Behind him, his second-in-command, Lieutenant Adrian Cole, crossed her arms. "Took long enough." Trask leaned back in his chair. "Arrogance breeds patience in the overconfident." The control room of Deep Bastion was silent but alive with data scrolling across dozens of hollow screens. Their secret facility, buried miles beneath the Arctic ice, was Earth's last line of defense against the inevitable. It was not a fortress in the traditional sense. It was something far more dangerous. It was a trap. Cole tapped the screen, highlighting several entry points where the next wave of assassins would likely attempt infiltration. "They'll strike in coordinated teams, just like last time." "Same pattern." Trask nodded. "And they'll vanish just like last time." Cole glanced at him. "You think Voss himself will come?" Trask exhaled slowly. "If he's as proud as I think he is, he won't just send more soldiers. He'll be watching, evaluating, adjusting." He flicked through the intercepted council transmission logs. "Which means we need to show him exactly what we want him to see." Cole smiled. "Lure him in." Trask tapped the screen, marking out the false installations. They had spent years preparing for this, constructing hollow military outposts, fake command centers, and layered misdirection. Every entry point was a carefully constructed snare. "I want teams in place," Trask ordered. "Nothing direct. No firefights. Let them think they're winning, right until they aren't." Cole saluted. "Understood. No survivors?" Trask's smile was humorless. "No bodies." Cole left to relay the orders. Trask turned back to the screen, watching as orbital sensors picked up faint distortions in the exosphere. The assassins were here. Operation Nightfall begins. The first assassin team entered Earth's atmosphere in complete silence. Their drop pods were lined with stealth plating, masking their descent. No alarms. No detection. They landed in the wastelands outside what intelligence had marked as a major Earth military bunker. The structure was massive, concrete and steel, lined with defense turrets. A fortress, standing defiant against the void. It was also completely fake. The assassins moved as one, black silhouettes against the night. Their armor absorbed all ambient light, rendering them nearly invisible. Their movements were precise, methodical. No wasted motion. Inside the false bunker, hidden cameras tracked their every step. From Deep Bastion, Trask observed, fingers tapping idly against the armrest. "They're following the exact predicted routes." Cole's voice came through the comms. Just like the first wave. Trask nodded. He switched to the interior feeds. The assassins were breaching now, slicing through the steel doors with molecular cutters. Inside, empty hallways. No guards. No personnel. No resistance. Still, the assassins moved cautiously. Their scanners swept for life signatures. Nothing. Then the doors sealed behind them. One of the assassins snapped around, reaching for a communication device. No signal. The walls were lined with dampening fields. A low hum filled the chamber. The floor panels shifted, revealing hidden emitters. Neural disruptors. The lead assassin staggered, gripping his skull as his cybernetic enhancements began to overload. The second reached for his blade, but his limbs twitched uncontrollably. The third fell without a sound, body going limp before it even hit the floor. Trask watched with detached satisfaction. That's 3 down. Cole's voice crackled in his earpiece. The other teams? Same result, Trask replied. They walked in, and now they're gone. Cole chuckled. Voss is going to be furious. Trask allowed himself a small smirk. Good. The Council realizes the trap. Voss stood rigid in the observation chamber of his ship, staring at the data feeds. The second wave of assassins had made planetfall an hour ago. They should have reported by now. They hadn't. A creeping unease settled over him. He replayed the last known transmissions. Breaches confirmed. Silent movements. Then nothing. Gone. He clenched his jaw. This wasn't a battle. This wasn't even a fight. It was an erasure. Voss turned sharply. Prepare the next deployment. Maximum force. The officers hesitated. One of them, a pale-skinned Silari, cleared his throat. Sir, if 2 waves have already vanished. Voss silenced him with a glare. This is not a failure of our strength. This is a failure of intelligence. His voice was ice. We underestimated them. We will not make that mistake again. A pause. Then, what if this is exactly what they want? The words hung in the air. Voss exhaled slowly, his mind calculating. He was missing something. The humans had outplayed them so far. If he assumed they wanted him to escalate, then what was the real trap? He turned to his officers. We are not sending another wave blindly. We are going to Earth ourselves. If the humans wish to play shadows and deception, he bared his teeth, then we shall see who is the predator and who is the prey. The war was no longer covert. It had just begun. The second wave of assassins didn't come as one group. They came as shadows. Across Earth's surface, from desolate tundras to dense rainforests, elite teams infiltrated with surgical precision. No signals, no sound. Each team believed itself invisible, undetectable. The Council had modified protocols after the first failure: scattered landings, independent units, minimal electronic signatures. They were masters of stealth. But Earth had stopped playing defense. In the Siberian expanse, 3 assassins landed silently beneath auroras shimmering across the frozen sky. Their mission: breach what satellite intelligence claimed was a covert human command hub buried beneath ancient ice. They moved swiftly across the frozen ground, footsteps lighter than whispers. One assassin extended slender feelers from his helmet, scanning molecular vibrations beneath the surface. A tunnel system. Worm signatures. Life. They began cutting into the ice with thermal lasers, heatwaves blurring the air. 50 meters below, the life signatures flickered, programmed holographic echoes, dancing just long enough to bait their sensors. The first assassin broke through the last layer of ice. He dropped into a cavern. Empty. Then came the low vibration, like a distant tremor. Before he could react, the cavern walls shifted. Entire slabs of ice folded inward, forming a perfect sphere around him. Microscopic filaments extended, slicing into his suit's systems. The assassin reached for his disruptor blade, frozen solid before he could grip it. The last thing his neural implants transmitted was a burst of static and a whisper in a human tongue. Checkmate. In the Amazon basin, a second team moved through thick jungle, each step perfectly silent. Their target, a supposed mobile communications relay station camouflaged among the dense foliage. Their scanners pinged signals ahead. Metal. Energy fluctuations. They approached carefully, slicing vines, avoiding pressure triggers. The relay tower stood before them, a sleek silver structure humming with power. As they activated EMP devices, a soft rustle came from behind. The last assassin turned, too late. A dart embedded in his neck. His vision blurred instantly. Neural disruption venom. His body collapsed, the jungle floor rising up to meet him in slow motion. His last image, two human operatives standing calmly, unfazed, rifles slung casually over their backs. Second team neutralized, Adrian Cole reported into her comm. In her earpiece, Trask's voice was dry. They never learn. In orbit, aboard the Council vessel Resolute Claw, Voss paced, fists clenched behind his back. 2 more teams gone. No distress signals, no data recoveries. Silence. He activated the secure line to Earth's surface. Deploying our best assassins, he muttered, was supposed to end this in hours. Instead, they were vanishing like mist under sunlight. His second-in-command, Laik Thran, appeared on the hologram. We're losing them, Thran said bluntly. Earth's defenses are beyond anything we anticipated. No, Voss's voice was steel. This isn't defense. This is entrapment. Thran hesitated. Perhaps we should retreat. Voss silenced him with a gesture. There is no retreat, he growled. I will not report failure. He cut the line and turned to the navigation officer. Prepare the command shuttle. I will lead the next deployment myself. The officer nodded grimly. Voss would not allow another humiliation. Deep beneath the Arctic, in the heart of Deep Bastion, Trask leaned over the operations console, watching real-time feeds from around the globe. 4 teams neutralized, Cole confirmed, standing beside him. Trask didn't smile. They're adapting, he said quietly. But not fast enough. On one feed, an assassin tried to breach a decoy satellite array in the Mojave Desert. The ground beneath him opened, swallowing him into a pit lined with sonic disruptors. The body crumpled without a sound. On another, a team attempted infiltration beneath the ruins of a false military outpost in Mongolia. They never made it past the first pressure plate. Explosive nanites vaporized their presence from existence. They're too linear, Cole observed. They're predictable, Trask corrected. He sat back, eyes narrowing. But Voss won't be. Cole tilted her head. You think he's coming? Trask's answer was immediate. I know he is. He reached for the encrypted console, keying in a direct transmission. All units, prepare for Phase 2. Leave traces. Let them think they've found gaps. Cole raised an eyebrow. Bait for the big fish? Trask's expression hardened. Voss isn't just a leader. He's an apex predator who refuses to believe he can be outplayed. We're going to prove otherwise. Above Earth, Voss's shuttle descended. He sat in the command chair, eyes fixed on the display. His ship's sensors painted the world below in lines of data, defensive installations, energy readings, and strangely, inconsistencies. Anomalies and patterns. Incomplete coverage. Vulnerable entry points. Perfect flaws. He bared his teeth. Too perfect. His instincts screamed caution. But his pride overrode it. The shuttle entered the atmosphere. At Deep Bastion, alarms chimed softly. Trask glanced at Cole. Voss just crossed the Karman line. Cole leaned forward. You ready for him? Trask's eyes were cold. He's the one who should be asking that question. He keyed into the comm network. All units, Phase 2 active. The Council's apex predator is inbound. Welcome him. In the shuttle's command bay, Voss narrowed his gaze at the display. The data flowed like a seduction, weak points, poorly shielded facilities, unguarded comm hubs. It was all there, laid bare. And that's what finally confirmed it. A trap. Still, he landed. As the shuttle's hatch hissed open, Voss stepped onto barren tundra. Before him stood an exposed relay station. No guards. No defenses. He advanced slowly, every sense on alert. Then he heard it. A whisper on the wind. "Welcome to Earth." The relay tower exploded, not outward but inward, collapsing into a sinkhole that swallowed Voss and his team. The ground sealed shut behind them. Above, in the frozen wind, only silence remained. And far below, in Deep Bastion's control center, Trask finally allowed himself a quiet smile. "Hunter, meet your cage." Voss hit the ground hard. The impact jolted through his armor, but he rolled and came up ready, pulse rifle raised. Around him, darkness. His squad landed in a controlled pattern, each assassin scanning for threats. Their HUDs flickered with static. No atmospheric readings. No data. The environment was sealed tight, a constructed void. Voss tapped his helmet controls. "Deploy mapping drones." The devices hissed outward in perfect formation, tiny spheres emitting scanning pulses. Nothing returned. The space around them absorbed signals like a black hole. No walls. No floor. No ceiling. Just emptiness that felt far too engineered. His second-in-command, Arvix, spoke, voice clipped and cold. "Containment field. Variable gravity. No data bounce." "I know." Voss scanned the shadows, narrowing his eyes. "They built this for me." Behind them, a faint light flickered. A door. The assassins formed up silently, following Voss toward the only visible exit. The door was smooth steel, seamless, and humming with concealed energy. No control panels, no locks. It opened for them. Beyond, a sterile corridor stretched into the distance, lit by soft white strips along the ceiling. No cameras. No visible sensors. Just an unspoken challenge. Voss stepped inside. "They want us to follow." Arvix hesitated. "Obvious trap." Voss smiled coldly. "Good. I want to see it." They moved with practiced precision, each footstep silent, each turn met with weapons at the ready. They never encountered resistance. The corridor split into 3 paths. No markings, no directional cues. Voss pointed right. "We split." Arvix left route. "Rills center. Report every 30 seconds. Move." The teams separated. Voss continued alone down the right path. The silence pressed in, thick and deliberate. He advanced steadily, each step measured. Then the corridor changed. The smooth metal walls rippled like water, distorting before reforming into perfect, cold geometry. A voice echoed softly, human, calm, and clinical. "Voss of the Thyrax Order. We've been expecting you." He froze. "Identify." The voice continued, ignoring the command. "You trained killers. We trained survivors. You built ghosts. We built traps. The difference?" A pause. "Ghosts fade. Traps endure." Voss lifted his rifle and fired into the wall. The plasma bolt dissipated before contact, swallowed by energy dampeners. The voice chuckled softly. "Good. Angry prey is predictable prey." He pressed on. Suddenly, gravity shifted. His feet lifted from the floor. The corridor rotated 180 degrees. He landed hard on what had been the ceiling. The corridor ended. In front of him, another door. It slid open. Deep Bastion control room. Phase 3 activated. Cole confirmed, her tone clipped. Trask nodded without taking his eyes off the display. Voss's team had entered the labyrinth. The final phase of the operation was underway. "Status on containment integrity?" "All green," Cole answered. "They're isolated. No outbound transmissions. No escape vectors." Trask exhaled slowly. "This is the part where they realized they weren't sent to hunt." Cole glanced at him. "They were sent to vanish." Inside the labyrinth, Voss entered a vast chamber. The ceiling stretched impossibly high, lost in shadows. The floor was covered in concentric circles of strange metallic glyphs. He stepped forward cautiously. The symbols lit beneath his feet. A second voice spoke, this time mechanical, layered and cold. Calibration complete. Subject Voss, specimen confirmed. Before him, the walls shifted, revealing panels filled with data streams. Earth languages, alien texts, anatomical scans of dozens of species, including his own. You've been studying us, Voss muttered. A human figure emerged from the far side of the chamber, clad in sleek armor marked with no insignia. The figure removed their helmet. A human male. Pale eyes. Calm. I'm Commander Elias Trask, he said evenly. You've met my traps. Voss kept his weapon raised. You risk much showing yourself. Trask didn't flinch. I don't need to hide. He gestured, and the chamber walls came alive with projections, each failed assassination attempt, captured in perfect detail. Voss's teams falling, one by one, without resistance. We knew you'd come, Trask said. We knew you'd escalate. Your arrogance was the only part we couldn't script. But you proved reliable. Voss aimed, fired. The plasma bolt passed harmlessly through the projection. I'm not here, Trask's voice echoed. Neither are you. The chamber shifted, tilting sharply. Voss stumbled. Gravity fluctuated wildly. I'll make this simple. Trask's voice continued, now from every direction. You sent assassins to erase us. The chamber constricted. The walls pressed inward. We sent a message back. Elsewhere in the labyrinth, Arvix's team had reached what appeared to be an exit point. An open shaft leading upward, light filtering from above. They took flight. Halfway up, the shaft sealed. The walls turned translucent. Arvix looked down, and saw nothing beneath them. Just endless depth. Then the walls became mirrors. Each assassin saw themselves, flickering. Then their reflections began to move independently. Reflections lunged through the barrier. Arvix's last transmission was a scream swallowed by silence. Back in the chamber, Voss braced himself. The room expanded, now a circular arena. Trask's voice returned, calm, final. We don't fear predators. We study them. Dozens of humanoid shapes formed from the metallic floor, each one a perfect replica of Voss's armor and weapons. Fight as long as you wish. The replicas attacked. Voss met them head-on, plasma blades slicing through the first construct. But two more closed in. His strikes slowed. Their movements adapted. For every tactic he used, they countered, learning in real time. His team's fates flashed through his mind. Trapped. Isolated. Erased. Voss fought harder. But deep down, he knew. This was never a mission. This was an execution. In Deep Bastion, Trask watched the final feed go dark. Cole folded her arms. Clean sweep. Trask's voice was quiet. They sent assassins. He leaned back in his chair. We sent their best into a labyrinth built from their own arrogance. He stood, stretching. Let the Council wonder. Far above Earth, the Resolute Claw drifted in silent orbit. The ship's command deck was quiet, too quiet. Officers stared at blacked-out feeds, frozen telemetry, and lines of code that refused to respond. The second-in-command, Lyak Thran, sat rigidly in the captain's chair, eyes fixed on the empty status displays. 20 assassins. No signals. No survivors. His talons drummed nervously on the console. Try them again. An officer shook his head. Nothing. Every transmission attempt collapses. Thran knew. Deep down, he already knew. The humans hadn't merely defended. They'd dismantled. He looked out through the viewport. Earth floated beneath them, deceptively calm. A blue marble wrapped in delicate clouds. Nothing in that serene image spoke of traps, death, or impossible strategy. He clenched his jaw. Bring us into low orbit. The navigation officer hesitated. Commander, that may be unwise. I will not cower behind distance, Thran snarled. Bring us in. The ship's engines hummed to life, and the resolute claw descended slowly toward the planet. Deep Bastion, Control Command. Cole glanced up from her station. Council ship dropping to low orbit. Trask didn't look surprised. They're coming to confirm what they can't comprehend. He tapped his console. Activate Athena Protocol. Cole raised an eyebrow. You're sure? Trask nodded. They sent assassins. They deserve an answer written in fire. The console hummed. The hidden orbital arrays, long silent relics of Earth's secret programs, came online. Above, the kill message began to broadcast. Aboard the Resolute Claw. Thran stiffened as the ship's comms flickered. Unsecured transmission detected, the communications officer whispered. On speakers. A voice filled the bridge. Calm. Human. This is Commander Elias Trask of Earth's Deep Bastion. The officers froze. You sent assassins to erase us. The voice continued. None returned. You sent your finest predator. He's now part of our archives. The bridge went dead silent. We are not prey, the voice said. We are patient. We are thorough. We learn. Static crackled. Then, if you come for us again, we will not send assassins. We will send reminders. To your cities. To your homeworld. In flames. The transmission cut. Every officer on the Resolute Claw sat frozen. Thran exhaled slowly, his throat dry. Abort descent, he rasped. In Deep Bastion's observation deck, Trask watched through reinforced glass as the orbital ship reversed course. Slowly, almost reluctantly, the alien vessel pulled back, retreating into the black. Cole stood beside him. They got the message. He nodded, but his gaze remained locked on the receding ship. They'll think twice next time. She smirked. There won't be a next time. Trask's voice was soft, measured. They'll tell stories about what happened here. About how Earth devours those who overstep. He folded his arms. And we didn't have to fire a shot. Cole tapped the glass. Voss fired the first shot. He just never knew he'd be stepping into the last room he'd ever see. Trask allowed himself a rare smile. History's going to file this under miscalculation. Aboard the retreating Resolute Claw. Like Thran sat in the captain's chair, eyes hollow. Set course back to Council space, he murmured. The navigator hesitated. Should we inform the Council of what happened? Thran's answer was a bitter whisper. No one will believe it. Council Corps, 6 weeks later. In the grand hall of the Council, Lyek Thran stood alone before a tribunal of elder statesmen. Holograms flickered with incomplete reports. No evidence. No bodies. No transmissions beyond the message. You mean to tell us, one elder rasped, that not only did none of our assassins return, but the human world broadcasted a warning to us? Thran's eyes dropped to the floor. Yes, Counselor. Disbelief rippled through the chamber. 20 elite assassins, and Voss himself. All gone, Thran confirmed. The council fell silent. A second elder leaned forward. Do we retaliate? Another silence. Thran's voice was hollow. Retaliation presumes we understand what we're dealing with. We do not. The chamber darkened, shadows deepening with unspoken fear. Earth. Deep Bastion. A sealed room. Trask walked into a private archive chamber, alone. The doors sealed behind him. He stepped up to a cylindrical chamber filled with shimmering suspension fluid. Inside, motionless, floated what remained of Voss, armor stripped, neural pathways severed, eyes open but unseeing. A single plaque beneath the chamber read, To those who come as predators. Earth is the deeper shadow. Trask stared at the floating figure for a long moment, then turned away. As he walked down the corridor, he passed rows of identical chambers, assassins, agents, hunters. All preserved, all defeated. Earth's silent message to the galaxy. Cole met him at the exit. They'll never stop watching us now. Good, Trask said. Let them watch. They exited into the command deck, where new deployments were already underway. Defensive satellites realigned. Ghost relays activated. Decoys deployed across sectors. Earth had gone silent again, but this time by choice. The next time someone came looking, they'd see only shadows and vanish into them. A final encrypted transmission pulsed outward from Deep Bastion's core. To the Galactic Council. Earth does not forgive. Earth does not forget. Should you come again, you will not return. Consider this kindness your last. The message burned through subspace relays, unstoppable, untraceable. And far away, in the dark corridors of the Council's core world, whispers began. Not of Earth's weakness. Not of its vulnerability. But of a world that swallowed hunters whole. A world best left alone.